We commend patriots who have withdrawn from the protest due to the apparent sinister motives and ignorance of those calling for violence. We note those who have spoken out against any form of protest at this critical juncture, fearing enemies of our country may be manipulating the process. We confirm their fears are genuine, as we have credible intelligence on foreign mercenaries' involvement in this planned protest. The Nigerian police urge all Nigerians to exercise caution and think twice before joining any protest group. While we alert citizens to the sinister motives of certain groups planning to wreak havoc, it has become clear that even a peaceful protest at this time may be ill-timed. We issue a stern warning to clandestine groups plotting to destabilize the country and hoodlums seeking to exploit protests for their criminal agendas. We will not tolerate the killing of innocent citizens, destruction of public infrastructure and private property, or looting of private businesses. We acknowledge the constitutional right of Nigerian citizens to peaceful assembly and protest. However, in the interest of public safety and order, we urge all groups planning to protest to provide necessary details to the Commissioner of Police in the state where protest is intended to take place. To facilitate a successful and incident-free protest, they should please provide the following information. 1. Proposed protest routes and assembly points. 2. Expected duration of the protest. 3. Names and contact details of protest leaders and organizers. 4. Measures to prevent hijacking by criminal elements, including key identifiers for possible isolation of potential troublemakers. By providing this information, the police will be enabled to deploy adequate personnel and resources to ensure public safety, designate specific routes and areas for the protest to avoid conflicts with other events or activities, establish clear communication channels with protest leaders to address any concerns or issues that may arise, minimize the risk of violence, property damage, or other criminal activity. We encourage all protesters to cooperate with the police, obey the law, and adhere to global best practices for peaceful assembly to guarantee a safe and successful exercise of their rights. We are committed to working with all Nigerians to promote peaceful expression and maintain public order. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. May the God of all creations help us to build our nation. Thank you. Thank you for these very good questions. The first question from the man from Arise TV, and he wants to know how much have we learned from the previous protest, particularly the NSAS protest. NSAS protest is the most recent violent protest that we witnessed in Nigeria. But we have had history of other violent protests. And we know from this experience that violent protest doesn't yield anything positive. What follows violent protest has always been violent crime. In the NSAS protest, after the NSAS protest, and police stations were burnt down, public infrastructures destroyed to the tune of trillions of naira, private businesses looted, valued in trillions of naira, several jobs lost in thousands. What happened after? What was our experience with the NSAS protest? Those areas where police stations were burnt down, criminals took over. Armed robbers took over. Women can no longer come out once it is 7 p.m. in those areas where police stations were burnt down. That was our experience with the NSAS. BRT buses in Lagos, 600 of them, brand new BRT buses, meant to serve the masses, burnt down in the name of protest. And we say we are fighting for the masses. The masses that we are fighting for, we are burning down the facilities that are meant to serve them. That was our experience in NSAS. We have enough experience to learn. We have enough lessons to learn from our previous violent protests in Nigeria. We don't need to look to other countries to know that there are serious dangers that come with unchecked demonstrations. We are police. We have learned our lessons from violent protests. And that is why we are taking all these measures we are taking. We we agree, nobody is contesting it, that citizens have right to peaceful assembly, right to protest. But the right to protest is a right to peaceful protest. Today, you see in the social media people calling for violence. We have to be very careful. We have to be very careful not to be misled into destroying our own country. This country belongs to all of us. This is our country. We must be thinking of how to build our country and not how to destroy it. Violent protest is going to leave us worse off. And that is why you see meaningful Nigerians, law-abiding Nigerians, coming out to speak against violent protest. But we are saying that, okay, we recognize the right of the citizens to protest peacefully. And if you want to do that, come and tell us. Let us know, so that we can provide security for you. And that is why we are doing what we are doing presently. Second question from NTA. You want to know how equipped we are, how prepared we are for this coming, to manage this stress of protest. Of course, we have done everything we need to do. We have put measures in place to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order in case there is going to be any protest. And I just gave the guidelines that protest groups who intend to protest, there are guidelines for them to follow. Once they follow this guideline, we are going to have it peaceful. So my appeal to Nigerians is to remain law-abiding. Those who insist that they must come out to protest, please cooperate with the police. The police will be there with you and protect you. Third question, should this protest group fail to comply with our guidelines? Then we know that if they fail to comply with the guidelines given, we know that they don't mean well. Any protest group that means well, that really wants peaceful protest, will comply with the guidelines given. Those guidelines are not difficult. All we are saying is make it known to the Commissioner of Police in the state where you want to stage the protest, so that the Commissioner of Police will make adequate arrangements,
security arrangement to protect you and protect other citizens. So those who fail to comply with the guidelines obviously don't mean well. But I would say that we are prepared. Then somebody wants to know how we came about the intelligence on the involvement of foreign mercenaries in this planned protest. You want to know how we get our intelligence? Okay. If you're interested in getting to know how we get our intelligence, please apply to join the police. Then there is this one on different groups planning different forms of protests. Yes, it's on social media, it's everywhere, it's even visible to everybody. It's on you, journalists, you have been talking about it, you have been writing about the planned protests and all of that, and this is not anything hidden, that some people are actually mobilizing for violent protest, while some are advocating for peaceful protest. Yet we see some groups calling for peaceful protest but with violent undertones, giving warnings. You are saying, okay, we are coming out for peaceful protest, and issuing warning to security agents, issuing warning to all kinds of warnings everywhere. Okay, then our friend Odita wants to know whether we are giving advice to government on the underlying issues that is making people to agitate and making people talking about threatening to protest. We have a very responsive government. You need to follow the activities of government. I am not the mouthpiece of government, but I know that if you have been following the programs of this government, you will know that government is already responding to all the issues being raised. I attended a meeting yesterday where somebody was saying that it's like somebody who is sick, the person is given medication and expect that he gets healed instantly. That will take time for the medication to work in the body before you now receive healing. I think that makes sense. The government is doing a lot. Like I said, I'm not the mouthpiece of government, but every Nigerian who has been following the activities of this government will know that this government means well for Nigeria, and it may take time for us to be healed. The economic meltdown in Nigeria is a global thing. It's happening everywhere. The hardship we are talking about in Nigeria is happening in all other countries in the world. In developed countries, there is hardship there. All of us, we have relations, we have friends living abroad. Talk to them. If they want to be sincere with you, they want to tell you the truth, they will tell you that it is not also easy in those places. We have people who have traveled out of this country looking for greener pasture. They want to come back to Nigeria at this present time. Even as we are crying here in Nigeria, our people who are abroad, they want to come back. So many of them. I have friends who live abroad, in Canada, in US. Like one of my friends was telling me, who lives in Canada, he said that if you go to the supermarket now, things that they buy for $300 before now cost them $700. At the other conference, I told the story of a friend who is a doctor in Canada and who was running a clinic and thought to just reach out to his neighbors. The clinic packaged foodstuffs and wrapped it in small bags and came out to give out to people who need. He said he was surprised to see the number of people that came out to come and struggle for that piece of food items. This is far down. We have to realize this. There is hardship, yes, but is government doing anything about it? Yes, a lot. Government is doing a lot about it. And that is what responsive government everywhere in the world will do. Then there is this one on why so much noise about protest when protest may not even take place at all. That is what we want. That is what we want. Any protest at this time is ill-timed. This is not the best time to say you want to stage a protest, whether peaceful or violent. This is not the best of time to stage protest. It will only set us back if we engage in, if the protest turns violent. It's just going to set us back, bring us backward, further backward. And that's not what we need now. We don't want to destroy our fragile economy. It's not good for any one of us. People who are struggling to make ends meet, then you want to come and disturb them again. What's going to happen to them? There are people that, if they don't work in a day, there is no food for them that day. You want to come and occupy the whole place and say, no, nobody should go to work. Those people who will not have food on their table, if they don't work in a day, what will happen to them? And I tell you that 60% of the population is in that category. So we don't want the protest to take place, but if there must be protest, let the different protest group follow the guidelines that have been given. They should reach out to the commissioners of police in their states, make their intention known, and let the commissioner of police, all the commissioners of police have been directed to attend to all such groups who make themselves known that they want to protest. But my advice, general advice, is to shelve protest at this time. Let us give our country a chance. And that's why I ended my address with the prayer, may God of all creations help us to build our nation. Okay, the last one, that the protest organizers are faceless. Then we want to know if any one of them has come up to register intention with the police to stage a protest. I've just given out the guidelines now. I'm not aware, none of my commissioners of police has reported to me that any group has indicated interest to come out to protest as at today. But I hope with the address I've just given, the different groups who are still keen on coming out for protest will start reaching out to their commissioners of police. You can see on the screen some of the images of the last violent NSAS protest. That's a woman being on the ground there. A policeman roasted. You can see a policeman roasted, and people are cannibalizing on the body. That was the experience we had in the last NSAS protest. That policeman that policeman you see on the ground there, the body, I can bet you was innocent. That was innocent life there. People said it's a policeman. I don't know. It may even...
Yes, sir. Policemen attacked Oyo State Command. They were going on bank escorts. So they met them at Iwo Road, killed the two of them, roasted them, and they were eating the flesh of the two of them.
They were able to recover some, but a lot of them got into the hands of criminals, making the criminals stronger. Who are they going to use those arms on? Innocent citizens of Nigeria. Is that what we want in Nigeria? So from experience, violent protests of such magnitude always lead to violent crimes, because violent crimes will take over immediately after that violent protest. Insecurity is going to take over. We're already battling with so much insecurity, and we want to reinforce that problem. So that is why I will keep appealing that different groups who want to stage a peaceful protest, even peaceful protest, they should shelve it for now. Thank you.